this standard. And that is page 6 of the paper. A very interesting expose. Police are now looking into a possibility of a link between a top politician and a cartel of hackers who are suspected of trying to hack into the country's election database. According to the police, these hackers have attempted to hack into the IEBC system 4 times last year. They're also being accused of minting billions of monies over the past 4 years using this same system. There has been allegations of links with Russian hackers as well. I mean, in the wake of, a lot of questions of integrity, a lot of questions of transparency with IEBC, what does this story say to you?
Well, number one, the principal role of IEBC is to create predictable systems for unpredictable outcomes. And anything that comes in the way to influence the outcome of that election, which is unacceptable to the entire nation, must be nipped in the bud. And this story is very worrying, meaning that if these guys are going to be a success in their scheme, and they've attempted 4 times and failed 4 times, but we've not been told how many times they've been able to succeed. And I think the buck stops with IEBC for them to tell us that in fact they've got a bulletproof system, that nobody is ever, or that there's no remote possibility that anybody can compromise the system. Because all along people have shed their blood. People have been in the streets saying that we need a credible election. So IEBC must satisfy every single Kenyan that the elections are going to be free and fair. Because nobody wants to wake up early in the morning to go and cast their ballots, and then some clever chaps, because these hackers are very clever chaps, have got the opportunity to go and compromise the system. That's number one. And then number two, this story again remains a bit vague and almost ambiguous. Because when you say that a top politician, and
we haven't had any names, we haven't had evidence of these allegations just yet.
And everybody in Kenya is almost, in a country of a population of about 45 million Kenyans, every Kenyan is a politician. So which top politician are we talking about? And this story is fairly shallow. And maybe there's an opportunity for the editor or the reporter to go the extra mile and give us names. We need to have the Inspector General of Police quoted here verbatim to tell us that in fact he's aware of this scheme and is doing something. We need to have the IEBC chiefs quoted in this story telling us what they are doing. But more important, IEBC must tell us they've got that infrastructure which ensures that nobody will ever crack into their system. Yeah, because if Kenyans read this kind of story, it gives an environment of voter apathy, because people will say, why should I bother to wake up early in the morning, walk 4 miles on end, go cast my ballot, if some clever man seated in a restaurant will just compromise the system?
I agree with what you say, because we haven't seen, we do have names in this story, but not the names that matter, if I should say so myself, because we're going with a top politician is being probed, and then we have names of, the likes of Albert Coleman, people who are working with this politician. And so it is really imperative that we know who this politician is.
Yeah, for this story to make sense, Ndegwa Muhoro, the fella in charge of CID, must actually tell us, in fact, he suspects and is doing these investigations, or the Inspector General of Police, and then also the IEBC. We need a comment from the IEBC, the fella in charge of ICT at IEBC, to tell us that we've got several attempts, but we've got some sort of a secure mechanism to ensure this doesn't happen. And also Kenyan professionals, who maybe an ex-hacker who knows that this can happen. And who is this top politician? And unfortunately, Michelle, in Kenya, generally speaking, is a very good country, but we are held hostage by politicians. If you want to rise to a political office, why can't you go present your memorandum and campaign, tell voters that you're going to take Kenya to the next level, so that they vote for you based on your ideas and the philosophies, instead of attempting to break into a system.
Right, and on that